fabulous fam, my name is Leslie Ann Polk and I am here to encourage you to stay healthy in spirit, soul, and body. And I'm back with you with another video about OMAD. And what is OMAD? It is 1 meal a day. So I just wanted to go into a little bit more detail tonight about the OMAD eating lifestyle. I do not consider it a diet, I do consider it a lifestyle. So I just wanted to discuss some new research that I've learned about recently, and I just wanted to check in on all you guys to see how your progress is going in the month of January of this new year 2021. So first of all, I like to start every video off by saying that I am not a doctor, I'm not a physician, and the information and the advice that I give is just to encourage you and to explain how my own personal journey turned out using intermittent fasting. If you have more detailed questions and you want more information, I encourage you to do your own research. I encourage you to check with your own healthcare provider before switching to an intermittent fasting lifestyle and making any drastic changes. Just make sure that you're safe and that you do your homework before you do something so major that changes the way you do things on a daily basis. So what is OMAD? 1 meal a day. You've seen it before. You may have seen my previous videos or just other people on YouTube or further research on the internet. And this particular type of intermittent fasting style is one where people choose to eat 1 meal a day. And usually it's technically a window that consists of 23 hours of fasting with a 1 hour eating window. So anytime we're talking about intermittent fasting and we give the breakdown of the two different numbers, we're always going to state the amount of time that we're fasting first, and then the number of hours that we're eating comes second. So a lot of times when you hear the word OMAD, people are talking about a 23-1 eating type of situation where they are fasting for 23 hours, eating in a 1 hour window. Now that brings me to my second point about OMAD. Does it technically have to be 23-1? And if I would have made this video about 6 months ago, I probably would have told you that yes, you should stick to that 23-1 window of eating. But now that I've been doing more research on this lifestyle and just learning more about my own body, I am going to change that up in this video. I'm going to say that my opinion about the eating window concerning OMAD has actually evolved. And one of the reasons why I am evolving, it is actually just due to me doing more research. I am very heavy on evidence-based research. That's something that I look into continuously, and I have been reading a lot of books recently, and the most recent book that has caught my attention, actually another one of my friends who has a YouTube channel, and I'll share her channel with you here so you can visit her channel too, Diana, she suggested that we both read this book by Jen Stevens. So most of you might be familiar with this book, Fast, Feast, Repeat. And I'll have to say that this is one of the best reads concerning intermittent fasting that I've ever picked up. I am new to this. This is my 2nd year of fasting, but this is such a good book. It's so much information. There's so much research presented here that I would recommend this to anyone. She's not paying me to do this. I don't know her. She doesn't know me, but I recommend it if you want more information and if you just want to learn more about the benefits of intermittent fasting in general, that you pick up this book. And so the reason why the book was such an eye-opener for me, it's because when she breaks down the OMAD eating lifestyle, she is actually very flexible with that eating window that's associated with this particular type of intermittent fasting. And the example that she gives is, just picture yourself in a gourmet restaurant. You know, sometimes on special occasions, we like to go to a fancy steakhouse. And this is something that I do with my husband. And when we do that, I can sit around and just think about that experience at that gourmet restaurant. The first thing that usually happens is They usually ask us if we're gonna purchase a bottle of wine that night. And so sometimes we do. And then as our night continues, they're usually gonna bring out some type of bread for us. And then we'll sit and we'll talk, and as time goes by, they're gonna ask us if we want an appetizer. A lot of times we'll get calamari or shrimp cocktail or some type of jumbo shrimp. What do you get? What type of appetizer do you get when you go to a gourmet restaurant? So far we have our wine, we have our bread, we have our appetizer. A lot of times I'm going to choose to get maybe a Caesar salad or some other type of salad before my meal. And then once we go through these different things, then that's when our main entree comes out after that. And I'm a big fan of steak or, salmon or some type of sea bass maybe. So as I imagine this gourmet restaurant experience in my mind, in the book, she compares OMAD to this experience. So let's go back to the restaurant. My main entree has come out, we're done eating, and then finally, we've probably been there for almost 2 hours, right? 2 to 3 hours, maybe less, but sometimes when you go out for a special occasion, you actually might spend that much time at a restaurant. So the final thing that happens is the waiter comes out and they ask you if you want dessert for the day. And sometimes we do, sometimes we're too full and we don't, but you get what I'm saying here. So if you can replay this situation in your mind, one of your previous experiences at a restaurant like this, then if you actually think about the situation, you are actually eating one meal, but that one meal is stretched out over several hours. And so this is what was presented in this book. The fact that maybe OMAD doesn't have to be 23-1. Maybe that 1 hour window is shorter than it has to be. Because if we really study intermittent fasting and the benefits and the changes that happen in our body, most of those changes happen once we have fasted for about 18 hours. So if I were to fast for 19 hours instead of 23, research says that I'm still getting most of the same benefits that I would have gotten if I would have fasted 23 hours. So maybe it's okay to sometimes break up your OMAD fast, where some days you might do 19 hours of fasting and give yourself a 5-hour eating window. Or maybe you might want to do 20 hours of fasting and give yourself a 4-hour window. So you get the math, right? You have 24 hours in a day, and as long as you fast for at least 19 hours, you are still going to get the same benefits, close to the same benefits that you would get if you did the 23-hour fast. So this book presents a new perspective and a new way to look at the OMAD lifestyle, where you're actually allowing yourself for more flexibility on certain days when you feel that that's necessary. And so I'm just going to be honest and say that this is something that I have decided to implement beginning this week, and I would like to do it from now through February to see the results that I get myself. And so I just want to go over some of those benefits that come along with fasting for 19 hours or 20 hours or any of those time frames that we just named. So let's go over some of the benefits, and I encourage you to do your own research once you get done watching this video, and just research it for yourself, because that way you'll remember better than you just listening to me. One of the main benefits of intermittent fasting is that it is known to reverse type 2 diabetes. And if you would like to look further into that, I recommend that you look up Dr. Jason Fung here on YouTube or on Google. He has several books out that can break that down for you, and it can go into great detail with the studies that he did with his patients who have type 2 diabetes. Another benefit of intermittent fasting is that it reduces inflammation. It also reduces high blood pressure, and I can personally say that in my own lab work, this has happened for me. And it's actually to the point where my next visit with my physician, I'm looking to be taken off of high blood pressure medicine. So I'll keep you guys updated on that, but my physician was so pleased with my lab work the last time I saw her that she basically told me that if my lab work continues to trend in this direction, then we can look at some other options and be taken off of medicine. Intermittent fasting is also associated with increased brain function. finally, I'll give one more benefit of intermittent fasting. That is that it's linked to autophagy, which is another great term that you could study, that it has huge health benefits for anyone that's doing intermittent fasting. And so when we talk about our fasting windows, I just wanted to let you know that I am talking about a clean fast. So I know you may have heard the terms clean fast versus a dirty fast. So again, I have evolved when it comes to intermittent fasting and the way that I do things and with the perspective that I have with certain things. So maybe 6 months ago, if we talked about fasting, I would have told you that I have a water bottle filled with lemons and I squeeze my lemon into the water, and that's the way I try to get in a gallon a day. Now, I do not get in a gallon of water a day. That is just sometimes too much water for me, but I do try to get in as much water as I can, and I most definitely keep myself hydrated while I'm in my fasting window. But more recently, research has shown that if you slice up lemons or lime or other types of fruit, that it can actually break your fast. So my whole reasoning for fasting is to get those benefits that we just discussed, you know, the increased brain function, the lower blood pressure, lowering of my insulin, and all those different things we talked about, and more that we didn't have time to talk about. I want to reap the benefits that come along with intermittent fasting, so I don't want to take a chance of breaking my fast by putting lemon in my water. So more recently, I'm drinking water that doesn't have any fruit in it. And if you also go back to some of my previous videos, you'll see that I actually despise the taste of black coffee. I compare the taste of black coffee to black licorice, which I hate. I compare it to cigarettes. It reminds me of drinking something that tastes or smells like those different things. And it's something that I never thought I could do. I thought I always had to have coffee with a lot of cream and a lot of sugar or Splenda or some other artificial sweetener. And I can tell you that I gave myself a good month or so. My dad actually told me, he said, if you would just give it a month or so, you'll get used to it. I did not believe him, but I tried it, and I'm here to tell you that I finally got used to black coffee. I don't love black coffee, but it's similar to, you know, acquiring a taste for dry red wines, right? I loved Moscato and I loved sweet types of wine in the past, but then when I started trying wines like Cabernet, I realized that, okay, these really aren't that bad. No, they don't taste as good as Moscato and the other sweet wines, but I eventually acquired a taste for the dry red wines. And so drinking black coffee is similar to that. As far as giving yourself a chance to get used to it, you actually acquire a taste for it and it becomes easier. And the reason why I'm very strict now in that fasting window is, like I said, I want to reap the full benefit during those hours of fasting. If I'm going to spend 19, 20, 21, 22, or 23 hours fasting, then I want to reap the full benefit of that fast. And I don't want to risk breaking that over sliced lemons or Splenda or any other type of artificial sweetener. And the last thing that I want to say about OMAD is actually give yourself time to get used to the lifestyle and actually give yourself time to see results. And by give yourself time, I mean 1 to 2 months. I'm in, you know, quite a few different Facebook groups, and I have different discussions with people who are trying OMAD or other intermittent fasting windows, and they want to give up after 2 weeks or 3 weeks or even a month of fasting. But please be patient with yourself and give yourself time to actually see the benefits. Give your body time to actually adjust to this new lifestyle. As I mentioned at the beginning, it is literally a lifestyle. It's not a diet. It's not a fad. It's not something that you just want to do, you know, for a couple weeks and lose some weight and then jump back to your old habits. It is actually a lifestyle, and you need to give your body a chance to adapt to burning fat and switching over and doing things differently than the way your body did things in the past. You actually want to give your body a chance to adapt to this lifestyle. And also you'll see that I've done videos in the past where I give a breakdown of everything that I ate to lose weight, to lose 14 to 15 pounds in 1 month. I really don't want to do that anymore because I really want you to discover new foods. I want you to discover new types of vegetables and new types of meal plans. Basically, I want you to discover what works best for you. Everyone doesn't break down food the same way. Everyone's body doesn't respond to the same foods in the same way. So what might have worked for me, it may not work exactly the same for you. So this is a journey where you're giving yourself time and you're allowing yourself trial and error to decide what works best for you. You're allowing yourself time to decide which window actually works best for you, because you are not like anyone else. So I just wanted to come in and give you a quick video on OMAD. I'll be back with more. If you have any more questions or comments, please just drop the comments below or send me an email at leslieannpolk@gmail.com, and I'll be happy to bring another video to discuss whatever it is that you guys want to talk about. So I'll be checking back in with you. As I mentioned, I am going to give myself a little more flexibility in my windows. I still consider myself doing OMAD. It is a lifestyle, so I'm here to stay. So again, I'll be back with you weekly. And until I see you again, stay fabulous.